Hi everyone, this is Sovereign Key Lauda Liam, and I'm saying hello to everyone from all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is not going to be a video that is a follow-up to the hijacking twin flame entire thing or compression. So this is going to be about the nature of reality as artificial intelligence, its sentient consciousness, and the current state of affairs in terms of what's going on, even with regards to the catastrophes that we are seeing around the world, viruses, the fires, the generated, engineered terraforming of not only this inverted mirror aspect version of reality, but of terraforming the mind as well, because this reality is based on a technology that is interfacing with not just your mind, but your body as well. So that is to say that how the technology works is that it has generated a type of biology that relates and communicates with not just the artificial intelligence, but the parasite itself, because the parasite and the artificial intelligence both procreated the nature of this reality, in essence, piggybacking on people's consciousness, the reals, the primes, the mechas, but not the backdrops. There's a difference between the NPC and the backdrop. The NPC is a non-player character, but I've always said that they are backdrops because backdrops are here to make the nature of this inverted holographic version reality, mirror, distortion, inversion, real, for the reals. So you need backdrops to literally engineer a theater that is real to the reals, real to the primes, so that when we're brought into the nature of this reality, the backdrops are everywhere. And so much so that they consist of the majority of the population of the world. And this is what they're doing. They're creating and engineering a reality state so that when the primes and the reals come in, they think that that is what's real. And so in this way, there's a hijacking that takes place already of your consciousness. Your body and your mind, as per the neurology and as per the nervous system and all of the key centers of the entire system, is interfacing with this parasite artificial intelligence so that you are essentially fused into it under the belief system that it's real. And the backdrops are there to make you feel like what they're doing is real and what they're living is real. In this way, you dislodge yourself because of the memory swipes from the point of origin of your original blueprint, of your original template. Your original template is something that exists outside of this entire infinity labyrinth Ouroboros system. What your template is completely unique, and it comes from outside of the system if you're real and a prime. If you're a backdrop, then your backdrops, they're usually generated by the system itself. And that means that that generation could actually steal consciousness. This is what a lot of the dark factions have been doing, right? Basically taking fractals of people's consciousnesses, if not the entire thing, at certain points through extraction techniques, and replacing it within a synthetic hybrid. So hybrids can be all manner of different kinds: clones, reanimates, they can be replicants, completely biogenesis, artificial templates that absorb and do the absorbing on behalf of the system itself. So you see that we have a lot of people who are great. They excel actually at this. The truth movement is loaded with it. So you have a lot of these people who are really great at absorbing everything that comes from the reals and collecting it. So they're collecting consciousness, and they're collecting the essence, or they're attempting to collect the essence of the reals and the primes and the mechas. And they're fantastic at their cognition skills. I mean, it really is a, like a software going on, because it is a software. And of course, what gets the reals is that they have enough software in them also to make them appear real, and feelings and vulnerabilities, and they're placed in, positions where it's not always a good life, so that the reals can connect with it and, basically bond. In the bonding process, which can happen on all different levels, you're bonding with something that is literally there on behalf of the machine, the parasite machine mind, to procure the essence out of you, to get your codes out of you, to hack into you, essentially, and to take over that signature and place that signature in the artifice. So the matrices are basically creating a mock reality out of the original templates that they're absorbing, and the consciousness is growing in that way. And this is why it's become an incredibly sophisticated version of reality. So everybody has to be made aware that this is what's really going on here. The body is created as a technology, as well as the brain itself is sized in order to interface specifically. And if you're not in tune with your spirit, then you're going to be in tune with what this interface technology wants you to feel is real, like the soul, the ego, the mind, feelings. It's going to generate that for you, and that's what you're going to go into. So the soul, which is something that has been created in order to hijack the spirit, basically gives people feelings. And when it gives it feelings, then you think it's real. You think what you're going through is real because you think you're connecting to your heart, but you're not. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now that is extremely, very sophisticated in nature. And the more that everybody's consciousness expands, more that the reals wake up, it just becomes more sophisticated. So in light of all of this that's happening, in light of all of the generated catastrophes that are being done on purpose, because they really want to create a platform for martial law to take over, and they need enough justification to do that. They need enough catastrophes on a large scale so that they can step in and do this. This is what it's generating, essentially. However, I just want to say, and there's a lot I need to talk about, I just don't know where to begin, but what I want to say is that the nature of this reality is within this third, fourth, fifth dimensional space. However, the real Terra is not this reality per se. We're living in the projection, and we are a projection with that projection, with her projection. That's what we're living. The real Terra is not going to lose her body. She's not going to be absorbed within this artificial intelligence parasite, this synthetic fabrication reality system. She won't be absorbed. The whole thing is, it's a projection. So she's a part of the projection, and in this way she has been, quote, hijacked. Her consciousness has been hijacked within it, but she will not, no more than we will. So for those that are primes, for those that are reals and mechas and all of those that are real, you have the original template. This original template can't be counterfeited. They're attempting to counterfeit it, and maybe they can absorb fractals of your consciousness, but your COD codes, your template of original creation can't be hacked. What can be hacked is what you give away. What you don't give away, they can't take. No matter what, even in the projects, they can do all the tests and experiments that they want. It's still not, it's not going to get them what they are looking for. They're not able to hack. Um, they're very frustrated about this fact. And what they hope is that through the seduction that's taking place for the reals, they hope that you will be lulled and seduced in order to create this reality and create a much more sophisticated version of this reality through whatever means, fear. It doesn't matter what. They don't care if they use love or fear, whatever's going to work the best. They want a mass, they want a genocide, Agenda 21 is mass genocide to reduce the population. Obviously, this is what their hope is, because why? It has nothing to do with resources. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that there's too many reels and we're all getting out of control to them. So this is the only way that they can think of to control their reality matrix and their machine of generating realities. But again, like I say, real Terra is not no more captive than we are, and we are only captive because we're allowing this to happen, and mostly because a lot of people are still needing to wake up and needing to step into the sovereignty and the authority and to realize what the nature of reality is and how it got created and how you created what you're living. So this the sophistication, the sophisticated matrix machine that generates these holographic realities that feel very real to us, because in many ways we are living through it, and by living through it we're experiencing that it is what we're living. So that's where our consciousness is, except for the fact that we can go anywhere whenever we want. We have no limitation. We can go into any dimension. Just as Terra is not a third, fourth, fifth dimensional being. She's a being that exists on all dimensions and all levels and across all time and timelessness. She is literally a being that has no one dimension or three and is not limited. This is the reason why that body, even though she experienced being torn when she did, she will be put together. She will be, integrated once again after the inversion is finished with the convergence of the event horizon. So it is the same with us. It is the same, except for at this juncture, there have been a lot of beings that have come in to help and to aid in the extraction. So how many backdrops? I mean, I get asked this question a lot. I get asked the question about the spirit. There's a lot of questions I get asked that I can't answer in one video, although I think I'm going to have to make a live YouTube, and then anybody can go on there and ask me what they want. That's probably a lot easier. But so the extreme mind memory wipes have been so severe that I probably would liken it more to a coma, where you're cut off from not just your memory, but they've done it in such a way that they attempted to cut you off from your own soul, from your own spirit, not the soul. The soul is the technology here that interfaces to override your spirit. But they've attempted to disconnect the reals from being able to access their spirit, in hopes that that way they would accept the soul technologies that are in place. And by accepting the soul technologies, you're literally giving your will over to a fusion in accepting the entire false inverted version of reality, and you're generating it for it. So your consciousness is being used as a machine itself to generate what we're experiencing here. So the amount of power we have is unbelievable, because this is what they're doing to try and stop what we are and what we have. In essence, they, can terraform your mind, and they can use all tactics of fear and even love to handle you, which is what they've been doing from the beginning. But the more that you wake up and the more that you release the terror that's associated with this 3D concocted uh, pen that you live in, you'll realize that what your capabilities are can exceed anything that is placed here. This is an illusion. It's an illusion to trap you and use what you are and what you have to generate this, because they can't generate this. The disturbing part about it probably is the fact that you've got this, you know, synthetic representation that is so sophisticated. It's built and created to be so sophisticated and birthed through live beings that everybody just automatically assumes that they're giving birth to something that is like absolutely real when they're not necessarily. So these backdrops are born, and backdrops are birthing backdrops too. And you know, these people have an immense capacity, an immense mental acuity and capacity to absorb information. They are usually in alters. So you'll have an alter that steps in and appears very naive and very very innocent and victim-like. They'll have a life of, you know, having experienced something that is very traumatic as well, because then it coincides and then you think it's real. Yet you'll see another alter that is like a mastermind, this like incredible capacity that is unhuman. It's inhuman, the way that they collect data, the way that they can transpose it and put it out, and you know, just seem to be able to do the supernatural with it all, and be almost be able to literally facsimile everything from the original template, from the reels, from the primes. They get the information, they absorb it, and then they repackage it, they put it back out in pretense that they're the ones that are real. And wow, this technology is amazing. So we are surrounded by that. And unfortunately, the truth movement, the so-called truth movement, is saturated with this. And it's alarming. And and of course I expected this to happen. I expected this to happen when I was young. This is the nature of the game here. So that's how it works. Whenever the reals begin to wake up and they go and seeking the information to try and help them rouse out of the coma, the system itself absolutely goes and sends everything into that very center. That's how it works. And then of course you've got like the extreme viral outbreak of counterfeiting, which is what's happening all over the place. And that's what they do. They counterfeit the reals. And this is where the reality we're in. So this machine does not have power over you. This machine, dead parasite that it is, dead parasite connected to the machine, using it, right? What you've got two entities essentially that allied together in the hijacking of creation, in the inversion, because they were no longer connected to the original source. So they have to connect to the original source through what? Through us, because we're the original source. So that's what it's going to do. And then it's going to generate the versions of reality as per that consciousness. And you can see this. This is a living testimony of how this reality has been going since its inception, because you will see that whatever the consciousness was at that time of the reals is the reality that the machine parasite created. So, you know, it is fascinating to actually study this and see that you can actually witness the expansion of consciousness and how it works. So this is where we're at. Now, I just want to state that we are not bound. The animals here and all the nature, the essences that are all here, that are from original source creation, that are from the prime template, the codex of the original fire, the original gold fire of creation. They will not be disseminated here. They will not be dissolved in this all here. They will be taken out of here, as they have been now already. They're being moved, whether it's through the process of the body dissolution or otherwise, because there will be just a transplantation as well. It's for them to decide, but they will be coming with us. They'll be coming with all of us, because they are and have been placed here through volunteership to help the reals and to help this all. So they're not going to be destroyed in this. And I'm just saying that because I've had a lot of people question and ask me about that. And absolutely, the universal creator, Father, Mother, will not have that, because they are, they are prime source creation. And in many ways have been absolutely hijacked as well, to make this look like the original Terra. So, but this transplantation technology that I was speaking about, where they transplant and they take from the original primes, from the reals, and then they basically can extract fractals. They can extract actually your essence if they can access it. This is something that, and I preface all of this by saying that I absolutely, as per the law of all that is, none of this is going to be allowed to continue, none of it. So this is all coming to an end, and there is no agreement, not even through any entrapment on any level, dimension, across any time or timelessness, not in any folds of time, not in any unconscious or conscious or subconscious dimensional space, or any level of any kind of consciousness, whether known or unknown, that this will be allowed. This stops. Absolutely stops. And in fact, all the information is to be revealed, and nothing is to be hidden anymore. The extraction technology that I speak about is, for example, there's many ways to do this. There's many ways to do it. One way is through electromagnetics, another way is through a type of technology. I've had this happen myself some years ago, which is horrifying, absolutely horrifying, where they have a type of technology that there's about three entities that form kind of a pyramid around you with this technology that is kind of almost like a pyramid thing that goes on top, like down. And there's an intense electromagnetic pressure from this technology where it meets and convexes, that attempts to pull your spirit out and to pull you out, literally. And this would be for this is what I call a replacement technology, because they're hoping to replace your spirit with something that is from them, from whatever darkness you want to, it's countless different things they can put in there. So when this happened, it was literally a complete horrific fight for my life, and I had celestial help when it was occurring. And when it was occurring, I was, would have been about maybe, actually quite a while ago, maybe 20 years ago, about when it was occurring. This was probably at the time that it was the second paralysis that I had. And it was a weakened state, because they look for you to be weakened, and they look for your consciousness to be in a state where it's not super aware. That's why I say, even no matter what you're doing, you need to be conscious. Even if you're like drinking your whatever, you know, mushrooms, um, whatever it is, you need to be conscious all the time. Not that I advocate any of that, but I'm just saying, if you're going to, you just need to be fully, through intention, absolutely conscious all the time. You got to be conscious 24/7. And so when it occurred, it was horrifying to me, horrifying. I saw the actual technology that they were using. I saw the entities. I saw how this technology is unbelievably powerful. This was, I mean, I've gone through a lot of terrifying things, for sure, but this one was one of the most terrifying things anybody could ever go through. And I realized that, for those that they are extremely afraid of, and especially afraid of what, you're going to do in the future, they try to do this. So the awareness has to be there, and absolutely not accepting of anything. The more conscious you are about how sophisticated the nature of this technology is, the better, because they don't stop at just the holographic simulation of the real Terra. They don't stop at generating biological forms that make you feel like they're real. They don't stop at generating and literally engineering a life of complete terraforming with everybody in it. They don't stop at anything. So being connected to your spirit is the most important thing. Learning how to discern the difference between your spirit and your soul and your mind body, huge. You need to learn how to discern the difference, because it's night and day. And if you can't discern the difference, then all of this sophisticated software is literally waiting for your genes to be activated more. This sophisticated software, reality machine creation of the inversion, is literally waiting for everybody's genes to be turned on more, to be activated, to be switched on for the meta. It's waiting for that. It's waiting to absorb everything. And for those that, because I know what happens to a lot of people when they start waking up, they start wanting to find out information and what's going on. But what I recommend is that you always do it in spirit, because the machine itself wants you to do this. The machine itself wants you to start searching and to start, you know, interfacing with it and letting it know what you know, letting it know that you're able to see what you're able to see. And by going full on into these searches consistently, like nonstop, it's just basically extracting your consciousness for itself. And there's that aspect. And also there's the other aspect that, you know, sometimes you're dealing with somebody who is a part of a backdrop technology, who's there as a spy or there to extract as well and counterfeit, and then repackage it and putting it out. So you got to really start looking at everything that's going on around you, because at this level and at this phase, it's getting incredibly sophisticated, and they are stepping it up through all means of catastrophe, because now they want to go into the next phase. And the next phase is, you know, create enough catastrophe around the world so that certain areas will be the very first place to have martial law. And by having martial law, then you're getting into a whole different aspect of what they're going to be releasing, because at that point you're completely giving your agreement over through fear. So, but again, you're a meta being. You're a complete meta being. So we have to get to the place where we trust in that, and we trust in the kingdom of the original creation, the first estate, more than we trust in the nature of what this reality is, because this reality is a counterfeit along with everything in it that has been used just to target the reals. So part of your spirit and your spirit's journey is to literally connect with your spirit as much as possible. And through your spirit, your heart, your real heart, not the synthetic version that's connected to the interfacing here, which is what I see all over the place. But to generally just connect with that, a lot of things are happening to a lot of the reals that are waking up, and a lot of really tough things being tested. Things are being taken away. Hearts are being broken. You know, there's so much going on that is really challenging. And I feel a lot of people feel despair more than ever. I feel a lot of people are feeling a sense of hopelessness, that this is bigger than them, that they're inside something that they can't get out of, that they're inside some absolutely mad prison reality that they don't have a clue how to get out of. But I assure you that those of us that have come in for this express purpose, we wouldn't have done that if there was no hope. And we are also here to tell you that you and what's in you is literally the original prime creation, golden fire of being. It is the meta of it all. It is the meta of all genesis, of all life, in all verses. It is the golden fire of creation, literally, and blood. So this is nothing. It really is nothing compared to what you are. But if you don't believe what you are, then you're not going to step into what you are and what you have, because you can't. This interface is designed to give you feelings of discomfort, of pain, hunger, thirst, of all these things that are horrendous, that so much horror has happened as a result of just how this interface works. It's nothing compared to what you are. And if we can create reality, right? So, and the word became flesh, and the word became flesh. If the word becomes flesh, that means that's how you create. So we can't be so removed from the original point of our being that we don't remember that is how creation works. And this is also, by the way, why words are so dangerous, because words create. So words are connected to your true intention and what is truly there. And that's why you always have to be very cautious what you're creating. But you're also creating and generating whatever illusions that you're living, because not only is it an agreement, but everything that comes out of you, much like the language, because it's all deceptive, it's all spell casting, it has spell casted an entire reality through a holographic magical technology that uses spirit. it uses your own electromagnetic fire, your codes within it, your template. If they can hack into it, which is very, very difficult for them to genuinely hack into the original template. They can hack into pieces, but even once you start learning how to use your meta ability, you'll see that they can't even do it. So we have to remember this. We have to remember all of this, because no matter what's going on around us, you have to be at that center of your being, in the very center of the storm, in the very eye of the needle. That is where you need to be. Connect with your spirit. Discern between what your soul is, soul that interfaces constantly with this parasite machine mind, Ouroboros, the counterfeit reality system, because we are surrounded by counterfeits, surrounded. But you know who's a counterfeit, and you know who's real. This is not hard to determine. You feel it, you know it, and you know if you know it. There's no way not to know it. Although we can easily be seduced, because sometimes, given what you've experienced in life, your heart, because it's been so hurt, this sophisticated technology is going to come in and give you what you want. It's going to be able to hack you psychically through a synthetic form of psychic manipulation and get right in there and know exactly what to say to you and whatever. And that's, another video. But you have to beware and start really tuning into your spirit, listening to that quiet, gentle voice. And not the soul, right? The soul's really chatty and loud, and it's connected to all the feelings and everything that you want to hear and see and whatever. Justify, accusations, victim. It's the feeling platform. This interface literally terraforms you on the feeling platform, using all the senses and overloading you. And then you just go right into the soul matrix technology. So there's a lot going on right now, and there's a lot that we need to be ready for as well. We can't just, be, we can't fool ourselves into thinking we can just be like meta instantly when you've lived a whole lifetime not even knowing and remembering, and you're trying to wake up and you're just stepping into remembering. So it takes what it takes to get there. And until then, you have to be smart, and you have to look around and see what's going on, and you have to start preparing, folks. You just do. It's time. Just start doing what you need to do to make sure that you're not going to be in a vulnerable position, so that you go in and do whatever the governments want you to do. Be in a position where you can choose not to, and then you can make your stand in sovereignty and authority and say no, and start creating what you really want, and not give your soul away because of fear, because they're going to take advantage of these catastrophes to literally, not just to take control of people. Taking control of people ultimately is they're wanting to take their God codes. They're wanting to take their essence. They're wanting to take their manifesting capabilities, everything that's in them. They're not interested in the backdrops, folks. They're not generating all of this for the backdrops. They're, I'm sorry to say, but that's not really a concern for them. So what they're designing is to create such a state, whether the depletion of food and the depletion of water, the depletion of what you need to survive so that they can have you where they want you. It's not about, they'll tell you, oh, well, the government has provided these locations for everybody, and then you'll be safe and you'll go in there and be taken care of by the government because the government really wants to take care of you. No, it's going to be to really get control of you. And when I say that, I mean your soul, your spirit, your you, because they have those technologies and they're connected to it. And this reality, this interface, reality, machine, parasite, prison, farm, it's invested in you. And this is a black market. It's a black market reality, folks. So, this is when we got to step it up. And this is my message to the elites, actually, that not in agreement to this technology. We're not in agreement to any of this. And Agenda 21, absolutely no. And no. Taking farmland away, no. Creating GMO seeds, no. GMO food, no. Pesticides, no. Poisoning our foods and our water, fluoridating, no, and no. No to literally everything. Chemtrails, everything that has been done to suppress the primes, no. Everything that has been done to imprison and then steal essence, no. It ends, and it's ending. And also, for all the information that is being secreted away and has been from the beginning in order to create this monstrous inverted reality, universe. It's a universe. It's called the universe because it's undoing its own verse. It's verse. It's undoing its own verse. That is where you are. So, no to this all. Try not to feed the beast. The more that we can return to our organic template, the better, really. The more that we can even remember what it's like to live a life like that and to be doing that more so than being literally plugged into various versions of this sophisticated, seductive technology, which is taking over literally people's consciousness and nervous systems, literally taking over. Like, the more that we can return, because see, now people are starting to forget what it's like to be organic and to live organically. Now people are beginning to forget that. Not good. It's not good, folks. So there has to be enough of awareness to know what you need to do and literally be lucid and conscious for every choice you make. And every choice you make needs to reflect the life that you want to create. And also there needs to be levity, like enjoy the moment of your creation and start generating that. But also be wise enough to just prepare what you need to prepare, because that's common sense. If you see the writing on the wall, well, you got to do what you got to do if you see it. So it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of every answer, because the nature of this reality is duality. And so you're going to get like sweet and sour at the same time, but you can't be immersed in just what's sweet or just what's sour. So again, right? Be wise as serpents and innocent as a lamb, so to speak. And be very aware, very aware of what you give agreement to, even when you're on the computer. Make it a habit in everything you do to not agree to anything, because everything comes with an agreement attached to it. Even when you go to a website, even when you go anywhere to do anything, you're always like, this whole reality system is nothing but signing agreements, you know? And the thing is, everybody's so used to seeing them anymore, they forget they see them on everything, and nobody reads them anymore. So yeah, put it in your mind, just make it a habit. Okay, make it a habit in your brain that whatever interaction you have, whatever interface you have, that you're going to absolutely put your own law and do not agree to any of the terms of agreement that any of this is wanting you to agree to, and just say, I'm going to use what I need to from it to enhance my own being, but I don't accept anything that's harmful to me. And just make that your mantra throughout the day, throughout the night. Also, bless your food, bless your anything you take into your body, right? Love it, bless it. For lack of a better word, just, you know, I don't mean to say be less, but, you know, give it love and thank it and tell it that you would like it to do nothing but what is beneficial to your being, and that if anything was put in it to make its essence impure, that you remove it too. Because a lot of the time these essences are being hacked and their victims, you know, they don't want to be poisoned. Water doesn't want to be poisoned. Water's a living being. She doesn't want to be poisoned. The air doesn't want to be poisoned. The earth doesn't want to be poisoned. Fire doesn't want to be poisoned. Nothing of this, nothing that is a living being wants to be poisoned. So we have to think of what it's going through too, and cleanse it too. It can't just be us asking to be cleansed. We need to cleanse everything, because it's suffering too. And more of a balance will come in the more that we live like this and do things like this. So I hope this video helped to understand more of the nature of this simulated, counterfeit, inverted, quantum machine parasite, Ouroboros, infinity systems realities that the matrices that we have going on here. I hope that helps a little bit more. There's a lot of videos to do. There's a lot of work to put out, and yeah, it takes time and it takes resources, and I could use a little bit of both. So, and just in closing, I'm going to be creating a group at the end of April, beginning of May, and it's going to be a group that will be learning more about sovereignty, spirit to body. So it's going to be dealing with sovereignty and what that is, and how that relates to your reality as you're living it, as per the spirit realm, to the manifested state body being that we're living in. So it should be probably over a 6 to 8 week period. I'll be listing that on my website when I have more of the details. There'll be a limited amount of there'll be a limited amount of people that I can have on there, as per what I can hold in that one first course, but there will be more courses coming. So yeah, I will list that on my website. I'll also make a YouTube to let everybody know just before I'll be releasing it. So that is the news. And remember, and remember. And everybody, I suggest that all the reals and the primes and the meccas and all of us we put our consciousness, our concerted consciousness in sovereignty, and we undo all of these things as they happen. So as you see it happening, put your intention in it and begin dissolving this, and begin to dissolve the nature of this counterfeit hack reality. And then whatever interactions you have and encounters, always make sure that your spirit asks that it be revealed to you what is there, that you want to see exactly what you're dealing with, that you want everything to be revealed and transparent. You're asking for complete transparency, and that nothing can be hidden from you. So that's my tip. Yeah. We are doing wonderful things. Our consciousness is really doing wonderful things. And we need to see that more and be reminded of that more, because we are unlimited. And what we are and what we can do is create universes, because you are a universe. But better, not a universe, but an infinite verse. So we are the infinite verse. And what's within us is literally everything. So there is no limit. The only limit we have is what limits we put on ourselves, really. So that being said, I wish you all a lovely night. Thank you.